Hello and welcome to the Reetin Entertainment Podcast, episode 367 for September 11th, 2022. I feel something important happened on this day like 21 years ago, but I don't think that we're going to cover any news stories on that. But joining me
Was
this
it
week,
Pearl
we have...
Harbor?
Yeah, that was it.
I don't. It's weird. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I remember that when I was watching Kung Fu: The Legendary Journeys, or The Legend Continues, Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, it switched to some news broadcast, and then I was like, that's weird. This isn't Kung Fu. And I went to school, and then they
work.
Yeah, I went to work, which is basically what school is. And we're joined by Andrew Rowe McFain.
Hey there. When I was in 9/11 age, I was eating breakfast, and then I said, "Hey, there's another plane," and then it crashed into the building, and I went, "Huh, that's pretty wild. Time
Yep.
for school."
Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, I have to go to school, and then we spoke about it at school, and I was like, oh, that's why I didn't watch Kung Fu: The Legend Continues or whatever. And then of course we're joined by Connor, the cyberpunk monk Bash.
And I guess since we're all doing it, I remembered something being weird at school, mostly because they were like, "Hey, we're not doing like recess outside," and I was like, "Well, that's bullshit." So I went outside anyways. And then I really noticed something was wrong when the principal and the gym teacher were like bolting toward me. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have come out here.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, it is with immense pleasure that I announce that 69% of the year has been completed.
Oh, good.
Nice.
It's good. We're in the home stretch.
The correct answer was nice.
Nice.
No.
You fucking fuddy-duddy. You.
And anyway, where can we find you guys?
Aroa.website, and one of those links is for Clinton's Core Classics, A Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition Actual Play Podcast.
Where can we find that?
Like anywhere that you get podcasts, homie.
Yeah, because we're on iTunes if you have an iPad or iPhone, I guess, or iWatch. Are the podcasts on the watch yet?
Yeah, you can sync your podcasts to your Apple Watch if you so desire.
Yeah.
You could say, "Hey Siri, subscribe to Clinton's Core Classics, Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition Actual Play Podcast," and I don't know, maybe it'll do it.
Were you trying to get Aroa's phone to do it?
Or anyone's? Let Aroa talk.
I guarantee you, Siri would just go, I don't know what you want. I'm sorry. How about a web search for because Siri's garbage.
Yeah.
Here's what I found on Rise of the Roll Lords.
Yeah, like.
So anyway, we're everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, and I think
you
Amazon
already found it somehow.
Ones. Well, no, this is
we're
for the Clinton's Core Classics.
This is the longest plug it's ever gotten, and I didn't even do it.
It's probably on the platform you're listening to this on.
Probably.
So, maybe just Google that.
Yeah.
You know.
And of course, you can find me, Nathan Reigns-Bruce, everywhere I'm at Reetin. So go to Twitter, I'm at Reetin. Go to Twitch, I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, usually, on twitch.tv/Reetin. And those are the biggest ones. YouTube, obviously, as well. So anyway, what games have you played this week, Aroa?
I've been playing Take a Big Stinky Shit Simulator 2013.
Okay.
So,
okay.
It's like a quick time event game where you gotta like.
Do you take a big stinky shit?
You gotta take a big.
Hold on, is he talking about World of Warcraft?
I just I don't have anything new to talk about, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just making a joke.
That's some good improvisation.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm just playing Vampire Survivors whenever I do play like anything, or like what is it? Like Realm Grinder.
I have no idea.
That.
No idea what it is.
It's a mobile / I think it's on Steam as well because it's from Congregate. Just an idle game.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty much like yeah, Vampire Survivors is it continues to be really fucking good. I just unlocked the secrets menu, and so it gives me even more arbitrary goals to complete.
Oh, good.
And like I have to figure out what the goal even is. I don't know what it is on a few of them, and so it's making me like experiment with how I play the game. It's just so fucking well made. Like Jesus Christ. Uh I'm also hyped for the Phasmophobia update at the end of the month. It's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, cool. What are they adding to Phasmophobia?
A lot. They're adding a lot.
Okay.
So they're adding like character customization. They're adding the custom difficulty setting, so you can change like every parameter for whenever the stage is starting out. So like everything from like ghost difficulty aspects, which they're revamping the ghost AI, how much sanity you start at, how much sanity pills give back, all of that shit. Whether or not you can sprint, even like they're even like there's so many minute things that you can toggle with the custom difficulty thing.
Yeah.
And like yeah, new player models. They're redoing all their animations for the player models so that probably so they don't look completely robotic. Uh and they're adding like progression and stuff. I don't know if that's going to be part of this next update, but I know that that's what they're that's like the really big one that they're working on. I think this one's mainly just custom difficulty stuff. So, yeah,
Cool.
it's gonna be real cool.
Well,
Um,
we're gonna move on
yeah,
to Connor
okay.
and
Okay.
ask what games he's played this week.
So I got a couple that I want to talk about here. First, I want to bring up Fallout New Vegas. I finished my playthrough of that and have retired it off of my Steam Deck. That was a good game to get started with the Steam Deck. Finally 100%ed it too. Get that off the damn checklist.
Oh, good.
I put
You got all the achievements.
all the Chivos.
Wow.
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 And then I played Aliens versus Predator because, as I'm sure you know, I recently finished all of the Alien and Predator IPs. Because I watched them on your Plex, where you legally own all of those movies.
It's true. It's
And
true.
I finished
True.
all the achievements for those, which check that off my checklist, which is great. I got Sonic Adventure 2 working on my Steam Deck because I suddenly have all the space for Fallout New Vegas used to be. I've only played the first mission, which is whichever the one is where you escape from the city. God, this game is just there's something just so magical about it. It's probably nostalgia, but golly, I love it. Let's start blowing through the rest of these. I started playing Sleeping Dogs. I got that installed on my Steam Deck and got that to work. I played a little bit of Middle Earth Shadow of War, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep on trying. You and I played Halo the Master Chief Collection, where we finally beat Halo 4.
We
The
did.
verdict. Bad game. Not good.
So we got about halfway through last week with our close and personal friend Caleb,
Yep.
and he opted out of playing it this week on Friday, and I was like, okay, so we spent about 2.5-3 hours getting from 1 to 50%. So it's gonna take about 2 to 3 hours to finish the game, or an hour and a half, and that's what happened. It took us an hour and a half. I think even less than that to beat the last half of the game. So I think that the progression could have been smoothed out a little bit to make the levels more like this level takes an hour and this level takes an hour instead of this level takes an hour and this level is 25 minutes.
Right.
One
I
of
was
the
expecting,
levels,
I think
like-
it's called pacing.
yeah, pacing.
Go on, Reed.
I was gonna say one of the levels was just like us driving into walls for a couple of minutes. That was fun because they had
no, flying into walls, not driving into walls.
flying into walls. And yeah, it was what? So you don't like it? You didn't like the game?
Didn't like it. No, I think it could have been longer if the ending had a final boss fight, and if it had an iconic sequence where you drive with warthogs towards a pelican just hanging off the edge. And they didn't have that, and it made the game like an hour and a half shorter than it needed to be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it could have been half an hour, 45 minutes longer, especially if they would have included a boss fight and then maybe not necessarily even a warthog scene, but like a vehicle scene where you're trying to drive off the planet. or
Every
whatnot.
Halo's got one. What the
Except for
hell
that
are they
one.
thinking?
Yeah. Well,
Except for maybe 5 and maybe Infinite. I haven't played those ones yet.
well, what they're thinking probably is we're not Bungie, because Halo 4 was made by 343 Industries or whatever it's called. And so they probably were like, no, we want to make this our game, and we're not going to put a scene like that because that is a Bungie thing.
Dumb.
Isn't the whole concept of like having a dev studio whose entire like lifeblood is just making games in this one franchise? Does that not feel like just like an outdated concept?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kinda, but I mean, it makes them money, so who really cares? They do it
Does
with
it?
they do it with Call of Duty. They have 3 studios that are all dedicated to making Call of
So
Duty.
it
That's-
goes 343 goes even further beyond with that though, with being literally called 343 Industries. Like when that would be like if Call of Duty had a studio called Call of Duty Studios.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm pretty sure like Treyarch and I know they're not Infinity Ward anymore, but I don't know what they're called, so I'm just gonna call them Infinity Ward. Like they publish other products while they're like usually when they're not working on Call of Duty, they go and publish their own stuff, or they make
Well, they
things
used
like
to.
Titanfall. Yeah, that they used to. Like it's
Well, that was Respawn. That's EA.
is it? God,
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics of shooters anymore. It's too much to keep up with.
Respawn is ex-Infinity Ward devs who dropped off because they were tired of making Call of Duty, and so then they made a different shooter that admittedly was a lot better, but also I just found it funny that that was what they decided to do.
Right.
But yeah, I believe Infinity Ward is still one of the 3 Call of Duty studios that Activision has. They've got Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer.
Yeah. Sledgehammer Studios or whatever. Anyway.
So yeah, we got to uninstall Halo 4, and that's good. And then I got a couple more here.
Okay.
Playing through Dragon Ball Z Carrot Cake. I'm a Game Boy, and I don't think I'm gonna finish it.
You don't like it? I thought it was finishable. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought it was pretty good.
I'm doing all the side quests, and I'm realizing, every fight's gonna be this, isn't it?
Yep.
So, I gave it an honest try. I definitely gave it longer than than I did like the first time around, but I might move on to it. Then I want to talk about Space Station 13 just real quick. I had something I've never happened before, which is I was a clown, and sometimes when you're clowning around, you get thrown out of public spaces. So when you're a clown and you try to chug, there's a percentile chance that you will throw the glass and it shatters. So I got kicked out of the bar, and I was like, that's no problem. I know where I can get as much drink as I want. So I went into the shuttle dock and I drank gasoline because, I'm a clown, just clowning around, which was fine until somebody came back with an artifact and was like, I'm going to give this to science because I don't know how to make it work. And I was like, okay, I'll go up and touch it. Didn't turn on. And I was like, yep, it's a hunk of junk. And I threw a wrench at it because, clowning around. Unfortunately, collision with metal is what activated the artifact, and it was a bomb. And I had a tummy full of gasoline, and they couldn't find out why I was still on fire after putting me out. No other game something like that could happen.
I do have a question though. Did you blow up the ship or just yourself?
I definitely exploded. The shuttle that came in exploded, and most of the pod bay was exploded. A lot of people had to stop what they were doing to deal with that little tee hee ha ha funny prank of the clown.
Did you die?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you said you were on fire, and I didn't.
It wasn't a fast death, but I most certainly did burn to a crisp.
Oh, okay. Well,
and when
that's
clowns
fun.
die, it does like a little grunt skull effect where it like there's confetti and it goes yay, which is very fitting.
Yeah. Well,
and then the final game I want to talk about, and it's taken me way too long to play this, and I gotta say thank you, Earl Grey. Holy shit, Vampire Survivors is a great game.
Yeah.
It's really good. And it's really good on Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I've played it almost exclusively on Steam Deck.
Like having a Game Boy at work and being like, I have, 8 minutes until this program is done installing and I have to babysit it.
Mhm.
Or I can grind for 8 minutes. And it's
Yeah.
great, and I recommend it to everyone. Okay, Reeton, let's talk about your games.
Okay. My games are Final Fantasy V. I beat Final Fantasy V this week. So that is my, I don't know, 20-something games that I've beaten this year. And then of course on Friday I beat Halo 4, so that's another game that we have beaten this year. So next we have to beat probably Halo Infinite, because Halo 5 for some reason will never be released on PC. I don't know
Then
why.
again, Halo Infinite co-op might not ever be released on PC either.
That's true. Which will release first, Halo 5 or Halo Infinite on PC? They might make an Xbox One emulator before the co-op for Halo Infinite is released. So we beat those games, and then I started playing Final Fantasy VI, which is the next
That's a
game.
good one. That's a good
So
one.
good. It's so good. I just got on Thursday to the point where I got my first espers. So I got the like well, Ramu is first, and then you get a few others, and you go from there, and you continue on, and then you get Shiva and Ifrit after that. So I did that. I messed up apparently, and it's something I didn't know because it's kind of hidden. You're invited to join the rebels, basically. And if you say no 3 times and then accept, you get a better item than if you just straight up accept.
That's how you get the Genji gloves. And in my
Ah.
most recent playthrough, I forgot all about it, and I was like, wait a minute, something's not right.
Yeah. And I was like, no, because Genji gloves are really good. It allows you to wield 2 weapons.
They're really good.
And you give them to Locke, and then you give him 2 thieves' knives, and he's able to try to steal twice,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
really helpful. Anyway, so I didn't get the Genji gloves, but I'll get those later down the line. It's fine. I'm okay with it. And yeah, I'll be playing that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Playing some more Final Fantasy VI, trying to beat that before the end of the month. And then I don't know if I want to try to play Final Fantasy 12. I have my brain remembers Final Fantasy 12 being longer than Final Fantasy 6.
It is I want to say I put like 30 hours in the game last time, but like, I mean, I also took the time to like grind through a little bit of the like this game has a whole bunch of side content, but
Like
I
if
would
it's
expect at least 30 hours just for the story.
well, and that's what Final Fantasy 6 is, right? It's 30 to 40 hours, something like that, depending on how on your play style. So maybe I'll be able to beat that before I go to Canada next month. We'll see. Just so you know, update before we move on to the stories. I will not be here next week. I know I've
Oh.
told you, but I have to tell you again because I know we all forget.
Was that the
Sure
week
did.
Aroa also can't be here?
No, I should be here.
Cool.
Oh, good.
So we're going to have an Aroa and Connor podcast because I will be gone installing computers and making $45 an hour or something like that for overtime. So very excited for that money because I just paid $2,200 to a dentist. Don't have twin sisters. That's my suggestion. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about some video game news. First off, we're going to talk about CD Projekt Red, our favorite developer, right?
Yeah.
They're all right.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah.
They made Witcher.
They made Witcher. They made Cyberpunk 2077, and I know a lot of people didn't like Cyberpunk when it came out. They probably still don't like it because of how the state it was in when it came out. But I didn't have that many glitches or anything. Like I didn't have any game-breaking glitches, so I didn't have that much of a problem. Of course, I was playing on my PC and not the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, so I can say that it worked okay on my PC. It seems though that they want money. And they have figured a good way to make money is to make more Witcher games. Because The Witcher 3 is still making money. It's weird that they started with The Witcher 3 and had 0 other Witcher games made before that. Um, the joke there is that The Witcher 3 is the only good one out of that series because Witcher 1 and 2 kind of aren't great. I don't like them that much.
I wouldn't say that. I would say the second one's pretty good.
Yeah, the second one definitely improved, but the first
It's
one
definitely better. Yeah.
I tried to
Yeah.
play Witcher 1 and it's just not good.
Well, the first one is basically like a full overhaul mod of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they made Witcher 2 and it was okay, and then made Witcher 3 and it was really good, and then they made Cyberpunk 2077 and it was mediocre with a lot of bugs, and then their stock dropped like 75%. Like it crashed hard after Cyberpunk 2077 came out. And so now they're doing during investor calls, they're like, yeah, we're gonna make a new series of Witcher games. And it says here from Destructoid during the call, CD Projekt Red CEO Adam something was asked to elaborate further on his use of the word saga to describe the new title, which is currently in pre-production stage. He explains,
Kaczynski.
yeah, whatever. He then explains that he sees the first 3 Witcher titles as presenting a single saga within the Geralt story, while the new title will be the first chapter in a whole new arc. So they're coming out, with episodes 4, 5, and 6. It's Star Wars.
He misread it, within Geralt's world.
Geralt's world,
not Geralt's story.
Whatever.
They've pretty much like they have in no uncertain terms said that like Geralt really can't show up in any more games. Not to say that they couldn't figure out a way, but
I was gonna say he'll come back as Old Man Geralt, but I don't think that actually applies in this case.
Did he die? I don't.
At the end of Wild Hunt, no, but like he's old. I mean, I guess they're like witches or whatever. It's fantasy. They could always just make some Boltrek excuse for them to come back.
Well, they could always pull a Game of Thrones too and just be like, it's a prequel, midquel thing. Like it's just the further tales of Geralt of Rivera, whatever his name
Baby
was.
Witchers. Come on, guys, Baby Witchers.
Or they could remake the first game in the third game's engine. Like
that'd
they could
be
do
nice.
all sorts of things.
Or they could just label it as The Witcher 4, The Quest for More Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically what it is, because like
Sorry.
I thought they were going to work on more like Cyberpunk 2077 stuff, which they are releasing a DLC for it, but I figured they'd want to do more in that engine.
After how much of a massive failure it was? Hell no.
Well, I mean, I think that was the original plan, right? Make more with that, and then it's like, oh no, and was it even that much of a failure? Because I know it sold a lot of copies.
Failure. Well, it sold a lot of copies, but it was a failure in terms of like consumer goodwill.
Yeah.
And the thing with DLC is that you have to have people who would be willing to buy that DLC, and I'm sure that they've done the studies to show, oh, we shouldn't really bother releasing any paid DLC for this thing. No one's going to buy it.
But they are releasing paid DLC for it.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like that's like they're not going to continue beyond what they're pumping out right now. Yeah. Probably because this was already budgeted. This was like already in the pipeline. It would be foolish of them to not finish it, but I don't think they're going to do anything beyond that.
I would like to see them make another game. I don't know if I would like to, because they have 3 Witcher games plus all the spin-off stuff like the card game stuff that they have. And so I would like to see something not in the Witcher world and more like and maybe a continuation of Cyberpunk 2077, make Cyberpunk 2078 or something like that. Or a new IP, but I understand that new IPs are really, really hard to do, and The Witcher already has goodwill with the consumers, and CD Projekt Red is losing some of that money in their money bank. How is Scrooge going to go for swims if he doesn't have money in the money bank?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they own an entire digital publishing platform already or anything.
I know.
Now hear me out, guys. Hear me out. The first 3 games focused on the action-packed Geralt story. The next 3 games will be the strategy-intensive Gwent saga. Huh? 3 high-action AAA card games. Let's go.
I
People love that card game.
Apparently
would
it's good.
think, yeah, it's supposedly pretty fun, but I would see it as being more focused on his adoptive daughter
Oh yeah.
because she's like a demigod or some shit. I only played like 2 hours of Witcher 3, so and
They
even less
don't
of Witcher
give.
2.
They don't. What's her name?
Siri.
Yeah.
Siri. Yeah, Siri. And she is just as useful. Anyway, so I didn't get much story from that because in The Witcher 3 she gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then you
Right.
just the whole story is you trying to find her. Now,
Yeah.
to be fair, I didn't play through any of the DLCs. So I probably missed a ton of story that has to do with her. But they in the base game, they don't give you much to go off of for why she's important other than she's like your adopted daughter.
And she's like, I seem to recall from like things that I've watched and what little I did play, she's kind of like Geralt in that she's one of very few of her kind that remain.
Yeah,
And
she is like the last of the Witchers or something.
yeah, the last of the Mohicans or something.
Yeah.
So she can like she does crazy shit. I remember the cutscene where she's got superpowers. That's probably important.
Yeah.
So
Well,
and
and
I'm
I
sure
know
that people would like to play as, a Jedi in the Witcher world. So
well, and I'm sure that The Witcher 2 probably expands on her story a lot more than what I got. Maybe one day I will play The Witcher 2, but today is not that day. We are moving
I
on.
wouldn't suggest it.
We're moving on. We're going to talk about this showcase I'm sure both of you watched intently.
I didn't even know this happened.
I did sit down and watch this, and I want my time back.
Yeah, I put it at 1.5 times speed, and that made it better. Have you
That's a
ever
good idea.
you ever watch one of these and you look at the presenter and you're like, he does not give a shit about what he is saying.
They hired this guy on Fiverr.
He's like, he's just reading
Is it
from the
that bad?
script. It is so bad. It is like his
Oy.
presentation is
Oh wow.
impeccably bad. He like there's
Wait,
one
but
time.
wait, isn't that, or maybe not? They
It
had
is.
like an at Bithel Games in the bottom left corner. Is that
Yeah,
this
yeah.
dude's name?
Yeah, I think that.
No, it's Blessing like Olayele or something. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, no, Bithel Games. Bithel Games is the one that made this Tron whatever that I don't care about.
Yeah,
I wish I
okay.
knew more about it.
Yeah, so they're coming out. First thing is they show just a teaser, which is just a logo that they made in MS Paint that said Tron Identity, and that's it. That's all that we know is that there is a game with the name of Tron Identity being worked on.
It's a visual novel.
Yeah, I was curious enough to go to the Steam page, and we still don't really know anything about it.
But it's a visual novel, so Aroa will play it on the Steam Deck.
I
No,
hope
I
you like
won't.
blue and orange.
I have absolutely no interest in this whatsoever.
I am going to buy it for you and make you play. I will not. I will not waste my money on that. Then the next one was I'm just reading from the Destructoid article. It said Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy team up for some co-op platforming in Disney Illusion Island. And at the end it switches to the guy talking, and he's like, "Sign me up for Goofy," or something like that. I'm just like, this is the worst presenter ever.
Yeah, this looks like it is like obviously it's the Walgreens brand version of like New Super Mario Brothers.
This
Mhm.
shit look like a mobile game.
Yeah.
Marvel's Midnight Suns was the next one, and it looks good.
I should be interested for like it's the one made by Firaxis. I should be into this, but I'm not. I
But
don't
you
know
don't
why.
you don't care about Marvel
Strategy?
stuff, I think, right? Like
No,
you're not
not at all.
Yeah, that's probably why. I like Marvel and I like XCOM. I'm bad at it, but I like it. So I'm interested in this. I think
I
it looks good. It's also going to be released December 2nd.
I actually think I know why it's not really biting for me. The idea that you're playing as some Mary Sue character you make yourself probably means this isn't going to be the kind of Firaxis game like XCOM. It's probably going to be
No,
the
no,
cinematic thriller experience.
I thought no, I thought you were. Like you do get to play that you don't play as, but you command the Marvel characters.
Yes, and that and your own like super special character. And a part of the Firaxis challenge is like the fact that these strategy games have been around for 20 years and have building off that. If it's going to be a Marvel game where you just put your heroes in the close position and then smash face, that's not going to be tactical. It's just going to be flashy.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be that, but I do have my suspicion that like you're not going to have like an Iron Man mode because
Yeah.
like you can't just have these characters die. You can't have Iron Man go in and just like whiff too many hits in a row and then die.
They definitely
So
should. That would be
they should have
awesome.
it that way.
That would be
Yeah.
great. Like
Have
even
it,
if you could toggle it on and off.
and they could feasibly do that and still have it be like a Marvel thing because they have the What If universe that they've acknowledged in the Disney canon. So like, why not?
This might
would-
be a game that I actually get. I'm pretty excited for it. So we'll see what happens. On October 31st, Halloween, they will start releasing a series of shorts. So like little animated teasers for the game, and those actually look really cool.
Why?
Little cartoons.
Who
'Cause they're-
cares?
Because I like cartoons.
Make the game faster.
The next one they spoke about was Marvel Strike Force, which none of us are gonna play. It is
That's the card game one.
Yeah, it's a mobile card game, and Red Hulk was introduced.
No, it's a gotcha.
Yeah,
But these
so
aren't
bad.
your normal cards. These ones are powered up, like Marvel superpowers.
Get
Yes,
it?
the announcer
Get
did not
it?
give a fuck.
And then they got another one. The Card Battler take on the Marvel Universe. Marvel Snap locks in a launch date of October 18th for PC and mobile. There's so many times where I'm like, oh, hey, look, a game. And I get somewhat interested. And then they're like, it's going to be on mobile as well. And then I'm just not interested at all anymore.
Because it's gotcha.
Because it's gotcha. And also, it's just not going to, if its game is made for the PC, it's generally going to have more features and stuff. But if it's also being made for mobile, you're just like, okay, it's a mobile game that they ported over to PC and it's going to be shit. This one's another one that I don't know if you would be interested in it, Connor. Alien Dark Descent.
Actually, yes. There was, just before we talk about this, there was a game like this that came out for the original Xbox, and it was dope as fuck.
Can you describe the game so it's not just the audience being like, cool, it's dope?
Oh, you control a squad of tactical marines, kind of like it's not really real-time strategy. You could select abilities and time slows down and gives you a second to like plan shit out. But you're just a squad of marines going in kill team style, taking out a colony.
Full Spectrum Warrior.
I haven't played Spectrum Warrior. My gut says StarCraft, but that's not quite exactly similar.
Well, Full Spectrum Warrior wasn't like it's not a sci-fi game as far as I know. It's just that it was an original Xbox game. I think so. And you like commanded a squad of dudes.
There you go. That or like, I don't know, Fallout Tactics or even Gauntlet, but less single hero and more like, here's my team.
Yeah.
So it's like those special missions in Command and Conquer whenever you have like 2 units and you have
that's sort of what it looks like it's gonna be. But it's in the Alien intellectual property world.
That's pretty cool.
And
I didn't know Alien was owned by Disney.
Me neither. I thought Fox owned them.
Disney bought a lot of Fox's properties.
Yeah, Disney bought Fox.
Does that mean the alien queen is a Disney princess?
Yes. Well, she's a queen. She's a Disney queen.
She's a queen boss.
Yeah.
And she's
a Xenomorph princess.
And then also that's why The Simpsons is now owned by Disney. Which is surprising.
is?
They haven't Yeah. Yeah,
Fuck.
The Simpsons been owned by Disney for a couple of years now, a few years now. You didn't know this?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. So then we got Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. It's a action game for
I was
Avatar.
surprised to see this many shooters in a Disney show.
Yeah, they like them shooters. They like that money, and shooters.
They
make
like that money. Shooters sure do bring in money.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like Call of Duty Warzone with. Well, it's okay. It's E for everyone. Those are green. It's green alien blood.
yeah. And then speaking of them liking money, Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is getting a Galactic Edition.
Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars. Sorry.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you right now. I don't give a shit about a single thing on this entire list.
Yeah, they've got 13 character packs. Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, The Bad Batch, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, classic characters, Solo, a Star Wars story, Trooper Pack, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, The Book of Boba Fett, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and then Summer Vacation.
Got to get your summer vacation episode in where they all go to the beach.
Yeah.
Is that like the holiday special?
That's what I was gonna say. The next one is the holiday special.
It's the bikini episode, right?
Good.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody going out and buying a more expensive version of a Lego Star Wars game, and you don't actually get any extra content. You just get skins.
Yeah, it's silly. Don't get it. I hear it's good, right? You played that.
I
Connor?
100%ed the core Skywalker saga on Switch. I actually had quite a fun time with this game.
Lego Star Wars is good series.
Yeah, there was a part that you had complained about that you kind of got soft locked for a bit.
Oh, I submitted a bug report and they did something about it. And they emailed me back and said they fixed it. That is good on my part.
Well, and to be fair, that's good on their part. That's good customer
that's what
service.
he meant to say.
Yeah, that is what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Like, I was very impressed that they took the time to be like,
and
thank you.
Good for me for submitting that bug report.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm happy that happened, and that's I like these. I like the Lego Star Wars games. I've never really played them because I've always had something else that I'm playing. But I hear really good things, and I played a couple of the other Lego games, and they've been pretty okay. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Return to Monkey Island.
Hell yeah!
It's coming out on September 19th.
I am a little worried when you advertise your game by talking about all the other games in the series instead. Yeah. I think that's maybe not a good sign, but I am a big fan of Monkey Island, so I have faith.
Halo 4 coming out. Remember all the other Halo games? 1, 2, and 3? Those were good. Remember?
I probably shouldn't have faith.
No. Another thing, I never got into this game when I was a kid. I got into all the other Disney games, but they're coming out with Gargoyles Remastered, which is another remastered. They've had what? I want to say they have Aladdin, The Lion King, Tailspin, and now they're doing Gargoyles Remastered. And
wait, I can't. What?
Yeah.
They remastered any of those games?
You didn't know that?
Aladdin and Lion King.
I knew about DuckTales. That was the only one I knew about.
DuckTales. No, they did Aladdin and the Lion King not too long ago, including, I believe, one of the editions you get access to the Genesis and SNES version.
Super duper cheap as fuck version.
Probably for Aladdin, because those were actually distinctly different games.
They were the Genesis one was so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have access to those, which I think is really cool. And now they're making Gargoyles Remastered, which is another classic game. I want them to redo Darkwing Duck because that one was really good.
As long as they'll redo the soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Disney Mirrorverse.
I
I
don't
have
even
no
know what the
idea
fuck
what
that is.
I watched the trailer and I have no idea what it is. It has some villainous stuff afoot. With more info on October, and then they just in this same bullet point they
Even
move on
they
to
stopped giving a fuck.
yeah. So the entire trailer for the Disney Mirrorverse is like the bad guys are the good guys.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and so they have like Hades
It's too
shows
bad it's a
up and
Disney
Jafar.
thing, so it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they spoke about, which they said in the same bullet point, Disney Speedstorm, which is a
Is it a racing game?
yeah, it's Mario
Yes.
Kart.
It's
Okay.
Mario Kart.
Yep, that's it.
Except, did you guys notice Mickey Mouse looks pissed as fuck in the trailer?
Is it like Luigi?
I was wondering if it's an angry Luigi nod, because it shows, I don't know who that first one is. Then it shows Mickey Mouse, and he looks just like
gonna send you through the door to darkness, motherfucker.
basically. And then they had Johnny Depp, Jonathan of the Depp, which I thought was a interesting choice, a hot choice.
Yeah.
And then they have Sully, who's not portrayed by the intellectual property of John Goodman, or
So
the likeness of, I mean.
so my question is, and I this is just weird and pedantic, but I was watching it and I was like, why is the girl from Wreck-It Ralph not in this trailer?
That would be a good call.
Like, I mean,
Seems like a
that's
swing and
her-
a miss.
That's her whole gimmick in the movie is that she's good at driving, and they don't have her. I don't know if she's in the game, or if she's not in the game, but she's not featured in the trailer, and that would make sense. Just to have a
She
little.
should be front and
2 second.
center. I agree.
Is Danica Patrick in her GoDaddy car going to be part of the game?
Does GoDaddy
What?
own Disney, or is the other way around?
It's a reference to Sonic All Stars Racing.
Oh,
for some
yeah.
For some bizarre fucking reason, they put an actual race driver in the game, and it was Danica Patrick, and she was driving her fucking GoDaddy car.
To be fair, they do that all the time. Remember when we were talking about multiverses, and Ash said in my Discord, "Oh yeah, I think my main character is going to be LeBron James." And Connor and I were like, "Wait, who?" Like the basketball
like a
player?
basketball famous, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at least LeBron James was in Space Jam.
And I hadn't known that at the time, so it was like, hold on, the basketball person's in a video. What?
Yeah.
Who is the female character in this trailer though? Because I don't recognize that character. Like, is it?
I don't. What
It's Race
time?
Girl.
What time is it?
She races.
I'm just looking at the at 1539, where
Alright, let me
it's just
see.
the logo, and you got all the characters like standing there,
All right.
looking
I'm
like
looking.
they're out of Disney Infinity. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who that is either. That is not the girl from Wreck-It Ralph, though.
No, like not unless they pulled some weird shit and like gave her real human proportions, which would be kind of weird because they also gave her tits. So
Really weird.
And here's Sarah Silverman, along with other intellectual properties.
Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Toy Story. Is getting actually it does. It's not is getting. It is released. Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, it's Animal Crossing.
And it's on Game Pass, everybody. So you can play it. I
Why
don't
would you?
because it's on Game Pass, and if you don't have Animal Crossing, then this could be what you have instead.
You could play like 800 other games
I
that
know
are like Animal Crossing but on PC.
that's
Right.
true.
Hey,
What-
Mom, can we go to Disney World? No, son, we have Disney World at home. Disney World at home.
Yeah, and then they talk.
I
they
gotta
s-
water my magic pumpkins.
Then they spoke about Avatar: Reckoning, an MMORPG shooter, where another Avatar shooter game.
Hey,
where you
You
play
know
as
what?
Avatar warrior with guns and customizable Navi bodies.
I never
Navi?
got to play. I never got to play that sci-fi TV show MMO. So
Defiant.
Defiance. I never got to play
It's
Defiance.
still on.
So
It's still up.
at least Disney is making Defiance 2
That's true.
Avatar edition. So
And then they also have Skydance New Media teases its upcoming Marvel project, and that's all they do. They tease it.
oh boy,
And-
it's Black Panther and Captain America doing something.
Yeah, it's a minute long trailer, and I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's
Hey.
supposed to be.
Can you guess what my opinion is?
You don't care.
You're right.
And then the last one, and definitely the biggest announcement, was Niantic closed the
Is
show with Marvel World of Heroes, which is
Wow, is it Pokemon Go, but it's Marvel?
Yep.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Wow.
The biggest.
If I
I
see
can't wait
somebody
for it to
walk-
shut down a week later.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever happened to that Harry Potter one? Did that fail?
It died
Yeah,
I
it
figured.
did.
because
I
no
think it-
one played it.
Yep.
If
And
I
then,
see somebody
same thing
walking down-
happened. Go ahead.
If I see somebody walking down my street throwing hammers at stuff, I'm going to mug them. Hold on, I need to throw more Captain America shields in your yard.
and then we're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about what Aroa wanted to talk about.
Yeah, something that I actually at least care about a little bit, not a ton.
I can tell you, I
Uh,
care. There is something I'm very frustrated with on this. But
Yeah.
we're gonna move. We're gonna talk about
I-
it when we get there. So this is
okay,
the Apple
I'm-
event.
I'm excited to see what you're frustrated with because I was sitting here like, man, they just keep fucking going along, don't they? So I watched this live, so I actually don't have to like skim through the article first. We're gonna go in order. In this Macworld article, we got some kind of fucking dumb thing. It's Macworld jerking off Tim Cook, Apple, the integration company, talking about how only Apple can integrate all of its products together so nicely, even though, like, if you're part of the Android ecosystem, you kind of have a pretty similar situation.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to use a Chromebook as your daily driver because you're a fucking masochist. But they also talk about how Apple Watches are so cool. I do like that they point out that Apple was essentially saying if you don't buy an Apple Watch, you could die, and it'll be your fault for not buying an Apple Watch. And so then they moved on from that into the thing that everyone already knew was coming, which is the Apple Watch Series 8.
Yeah.
It is not a crazy new revolutionary design. In spite of all of the stupid fucking delusional rumors that were saying that there would be a brand new design, you instead get a new accelerometer and a gyroscope that can detect if you're in a car crash. Wow. What a weird specific feature to build into a device. The capability to detect when you're in a car crash. Do Apple users get in car crashes that often that Apple wants to create some kind of assurance that emergency services will be on their way shortly after you're in a crash, as long as it is under 250 Gs, because that's the maximum sensitivity of the sensor.
I mean,
I
if they're
mean-
using Apple Maps, it's very possible.
That's true. To be fair, I mean, I don't hate that feature. I mean, it's
I
fine.
don't hate it. I'm not against it. It's the same with the other new sensor that they tout, the body temperature sensor. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's just it doesn't really do anything, you know?
And also apparently that's really good for tracking menstrual cycles and stuff. Which...
Yeah, they spent a really weirdly long time talking about women's health and specifically tracking menstrual cycles. And like I'm all for Apple like pushing more inclusive features like this, and they even like they chose the language of people who menstruate and
Yeah.
not specifically women, at least in a couple instances. They kind of fucked up in some others, but like I'm all for that. It's just, is that the best you got as far as a new selling point?
Well, and
Like,
also, here's the thing. Some states will be trying to grab that data, so that way
well,
they
yeah,
can prosecute people who are
right,
pregnant and want
and
to have an
and
abortion.
benefit to Apple in that Apple can't get your health data. That is
There,
not stored unencrypted in the cloud.
good,
Uh,
good.
all of your Apple Health stuff, that is all encrypted on device, and then the encrypted content is what is synchronized with your iCloud account. So unless you specifically choose to share that health data with a third party, you don't really have anything to worry about there.
Good.
Now, other menstruation tracking apps, that's a whole different story. But
Now,
in
what's
any
the
case,
price of this?
it's the same as every other Apple Watch that's come out previously. You got $400 for the 41 millimeter Wi-Fi only, and then $430 for the 45 millimeter Wi-Fi only. And you tack on an extra $100 if you want a cellular connection on either one.
That's not
It's a lot.
good. That's a
Yeah.
lot of money. Like you
It
can
is.
buy a Samsung Galaxy Watch for like $200. I think I got
Mhm.
mine for like 120 on sale.
And if memory
So,
serves, it has all of the same tracking capabilities, just not the body temperature sensor, which is useless to people who are not menstruating. And you don't need the fucking accelerometer thing. Okay, you don't need it.
yeah.
Okay, especially because you're more likely to buy a new iPhone, I feel, than a new Apple Watch. And yes, we're gonna get to it, but the new iPhone also has the stupid, if you get in a car crash, it'll call the police thing. So
Okay. And the next thing they talked about was the Apple Watch SE.
yeah, so if you just want to be able to say I own an Apple Watch, then you have the cheap version, which is $250 for the 40 millimeter, $299 for the 44 millimeter version. This is cheaper than the old cheap version, uh, but it damn well should be, because while it has the Series 8
Processor?
chip.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's package. It's something system in package. While it has all that, it doesn't have any of the other features that actually make it useful. So it can do your heart rate, but it doesn't do ECG. It doesn't do blood oxygen level. It doesn't do the temperature monitoring. It's got the new gyroscope and accelerometer, but who gives a fuck? Um, it does have smaller bezels, I believe, than the old SE. But again, like, this is the Apple Watch for, I want a heart rate monitor and I also want to feel cool. So
Mhm.
I'm going to buy an Apple Watch. And I
Uh,
say this with an Apple Watch on my wrist, by the way. I have a Series 3, which is no longer supported. I literally have to buy a new Apple Watch if I want to continue having an up-to-date Apple Watch, which, with all the security flaws that keep getting found in these things, I'm gonna have to upgrade, or else I'm gonna get fucked somehow or
yeah.
another.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love being trapped in this ecosystem.
Are you gonna get an Apple SE? Is that the one you're leaning towards?
No, I'm gonna get a 7. I'm probably gonna try to get a used 7 because it'll be cheaper and it has absolutely no missing features that I give a shit about from the Series 8.
And
So
then they have the Apple Watch Ultra.
So if you're fucking stupid and you really think that you need an Apple Watch that can withstand getting run over by a bulldozer or some bullshit, you can get the Apple Watch Ultra. Do you wish that you had a diving watch that wasn't as good as a dedicated diving watch? Well,
Why,
you can
yes.
get the Apple Watch Ultra. It's water resistant down to 100 meters, and it will automatically turn into a diving watch once you get like 10 meters down or something. But it's only
And-
certified for recreational diving down to 40 meters, so I don't understand that part. What?
And if you get hit by a submarine, it'll automatically call an ambulance.
It will. It will automatically call an ambulance. At least it would, except from my understanding, water is really, really good at blocking the signals that Bluetooth uses. So
It really is, 'cause
probably won't.
sometimes I will be taking my bath, like I'll be taking a bath with my watch on, and I'll have it under the water, like I'll have my hands in the water, and my watch will disconnect from my phone.
Well, that and just
Today I
being
learned that-
submerged in water, it
Yeah.
generates a lot of noise.
Yeah,
Today I learned that Nathan takes baths. That's an interesting thought.
He
I
can
like
fit in the bathtub.
I like baths.
That's
What's wrong with
that,
baths?
I don't know.
I like bubble baths.
It's nothing. There's I don't know. It's just, it's it's something that's usually inherently feminine, and so it's just interesting to hear that. I'm not saying anything about you. I'm not calling you a soy boy or anything.
Yeah, I like
If anything,
lavender.
I'm proud of you for being able to admit that.
Baths are amazing. I love them. They're great.
I like rainbows.
Yeah, they're good.
But
Also,
yeah,
how much is this gonna cost?
So, well, hold on. We got to talk
Okay.
about how it's 49 millimeters, so it's bigger than the bigger Apple Watch option.
Okay.
And it's made for extreme weather and outdoor activity. They, in the marketing, they showed off people like doing rock climbing or traversing through the desert or in a windstorm or some shit, like in the winter with their Apple Watch.
Wait,
You wouldn't have like a satellite radio, like you wouldn't have anything like that. You'd have an Apple Watch.
but I have a question here. It also says that it has twice as big of a battery.
It does have a 36-hour battery.
But it only lasts 36 hours?
Correct.
But like my watch, my Galaxy 3,
Mhm.
I regularly get like 4 or 5 days out of it.
Yeah. Well,
So I get like
yeah.
I get way more. Like, do you have to charge your Apple Watch 3 like every day and a half or every day?
So I try to like put it on the charger every time I go in the bathroom to try to keep it going. But yeah, definitely got to charge it at least every other day. Bare minimum.
That is awful.
Usually charge it like while I'm in the shower. If I was smart, I'd have it on the charger right now, actually. Yeah, the battery life is abysmal.
That's
I remember having a Pebble and being like, "Oops, it's day 4. I better charge it tomorrow."
I
Like,
I sort of miss my Pebble. That was a great smartwatch.
God, yes, it was. And like, so what if it didn't have the high accuracy dual GPS system and an additional speaker for better outdoor calling performance? Just wear a fucking Bluetooth earpiece. Wear your goddamn earpods. Like your AirPods. Sorry, that's coming up, and I'm gonna bitch about something in there too.
Next week when it's just you and me, do you want to record the podcast on your smartwatches? I can do that. I can connect to Discord on my watch.
I don't think I can.
So there are. So it's also in titanium.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Whatever. Like, who cares? You got some new bands that probably cost like $150 each because they're fucking official Apple Watch bands and they cost way too goddamn much.
Yeah,
one of them just looks like a bike chain. Who's gonna buy that?
Oh, the one that's made out of silicone and is going to like rip the third time that it gets caught on something while you're diving with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got one made for diving and water sports, one made for endurance sports such as marathon running, and
in other words, it's made of cloth.
Yeah, and one made for cold weather environments. Why would if you're in a cold weather environment?
I don't even know which one they're talking about.
I don't know.
Because like the left one is the one that they showed for like rock climbing. And it's just that it like that metal thing goes through the little molly loops that it has on the rest of the band. Like that's all it is.
So
Apple Watch bands are fucking stupid. Like I don't get me wrong, I really like my Apple Watch, but God, the marketing that Apple does with this shit is so stupid.
Let me ask you now, will you tell me the price? Will you tell me the price of this?
Sorry, somebody came in.
Oh.
Do you need
No.
me to tell you the price?
It's $800.
$800.
$800. So it's I think actually, is it more than the starting price of the new? It is the same price as the new iPhones.
Ugh.
I want to tell you, this is what I was frustrated with. I was frustrated when scrolling through these stories that I saw Apple Watch Series 8, Apple Watch SE, Apple Watch Ultra. Why? It's a fucking watch. Why?
Pedigree.
So there is one single solitary feature that I do think is good on the Apple Watch Ultra that I really wish wasn't exclusive to the Ultra. And I hope that they integrate it into the next version of the standard Apple Watch. And that is the action button. Because it is a really big pain in the ass whenever you're doing much of anything on the Apple Watch and you're like walking or whatever, and like you to try to fuck with the touch screen. It would be so nice to have a button that just does whatever you probably want to do.
Yeah.
Like
Just like mine.
I would assume that like if for runners and shit, well, the marketing video that they shows that like if you're jogging or whatever, you can press the action button and it automatically marks a lap and starts the timer over, and that kind of shit. That's a genuinely good idea. It's not a $400 idea, but it's a good idea. Like,
yeah,
I
can't.
hope that they add that later.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
So in closing, the
Oh.
Apple Watch and the Apple Watch Ultra, great if you are a pregnant woman who often finds herself in car crashes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the AirPods Pro, which also allow you to know if you're in a car crash, from what I understand.
Actually, I don't think this is the only Apple product that will not tell you if you've been in a car crash.
Oh,
actually,
okay. Oh, okay.
in case you needed something to tell you that.
So when you get in a car crash, it's not like it looks like you've been in a car crash.
No, it doesn't do that. However, it does have the awesome feature that the PlayStation 5 has, where it will create like a noise cancellation profile based on the shape of your ears.
That's really cool. I have a couple really cheap noise canceling headphones, and they work surprisingly well. Like I
Yeah.
bought them for like $40, and they work really well.
Supposedly, now according to Apple's marketing, and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But they're saying that the noise cancellation works in the AirPods Pro 2, works twice as well as the old one.
I've never.
I don't know because I've never used AirPod Pros, so I don't know how well that works. I know that Sony, my old ass Sony headphones that actually snapped finally, and I can't get them to stick back together. Those had impressively good noise cancellation, and they were from like before AirPods existed. So I can imagine that as the industry has moved forward, probably every fucking pair of noise canceling headphones do just a fine job.
Yeah. And I remember this was over 10 years ago when my friend was like, I got these $300 Bose headphones with
Oh.
noise cancellation.
What a fucking tool bag.
But this was before noise cancellation was like mainstream, right? Like it was just getting started. And I was like, that is really cool. I would not pay $300 for a pair of headphones.
Right.
For a pair of Bose headphones. But it is really cool that it's come down to the point where even like $40 or $50 headphones have noise cancellation on them. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing.
You can get a pair of Raycon earbuds that have powerful noise canceling capabilities built in for less than half the price of competing products.
No, first off, we're not sponsored by them, and secondly,
oh shit.
The way that
like
the way they do noise canceling is they just crank up the bass. You
it's
can't
not
hear
even-
anything but bass.
It's not even actual noise canceling. Like they choose their words very specifically in that ad read because it's noise isolating because it just plugs your ears really good. And
Oh,
admittedly,
okay.
it does a decent job.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of Raycons. But
But they do say that these new ones, the new AirPod Pros, AirPod Pros,
yeah,
battery lasts an hour longer, so it's an hour and a half longer, 6 hours instead of 4.5, and the case provides up to 30 hours of playback, up from 24. The case also has a keychain loop, a speaker for making noise with Find My support, which actually I kind of like. I do have an AirTag that I have on my my girlfriend's cat, and every once in a while I'll be looking for her, and I'll make the tag make noise so I can find her when she's out in the backyard or something. And so I do like that. Also, if you lose your case, how many times my girlfriend has lost her Google Pixel Buds case and we have to search for it. Being able to make noise would make a lot of sense.
it also has precision finding with the U1 chip, which is, from my understanding, is pretty magical. Honestly,
that's good
because you just have your iPhone and it's like it's over there, and you walk in that direction. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then it can be charged with MagSafe.
Sorry. You got. Well, I was gonna say that we missed the feature where the noise canceling has adaptive transparency mode, where if you have transparency mode on, which if you used any high grade noise canceling headphones, transparency mode is where you can hear other people talking. Like it just passes through outside audio to a degree while still providing some level of noise cancellation. The adaptive transparency mode will read noises like construction and like traffic and shit, and will still filter that out while allowing you to hear things like, I don't know, like a honking horn or somebody yelling or something like that.
Yeah. I usually with the noise canceling, they filter out everything except for like voices. Typically,
it's a certain frequency range.
Yeah.
And like my Sony headphones had a voice mode where it would only allow through voices, or it had a ambient mode where you could hear most things around you.
Mm-hmm.
But
and then also it can be charged with MagSafe, wireless charging pad, an Apple Watch charger, or a lightning cable. So there are a lot of options to charge it, which is nice.
Interesting that an Apple Watch charger works.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then there are new extra small ear tips to fit my ears. So that's good. I have very tiny ears.
I do have one ear hole that is particularly small.
That's weird.
So, yeah.
This is going to be $250.
Woo!
So
that's that's quite a bit for looking like a massive tool in public.
Yeah. And then
it's unfortunate too, because I like AirPod Pro thing. I like them as a product, but it's like I'm so immediately turned off from buying them because I don't want people to see them in my ears.
I have, as I mentioned earlier, I have the Google Pixel Buds, not the new Pro version that just released, but I have the just the $100 Pixel Bud A's, and you can't, like, they fit in your ear, and like you can tell that somebody has something in their ear, but like with the AirPods, like they have that like foot and a half.
The little dangly do.
Yeah, they have like a 1.5 foot thing that hangs out from your ear, and they're like perfect. I know it's only like an inch long, but you can definitely
but it's still
tell.
Like, you see it and you're like, oh great, that guy has a pair of AirPods, because he didn't want to like actually make any consideration in terms of what he was buying. He just bought the Apple product because that was what was there.
Yeah.
Like that's always what I think of those people, and I don't want to be that.
Well, you are that. And speaking of buying the Apple product because it's there, the iPhone 14.
Wow, it's the iPhone 13. But
they don't have a mini size anymore.
Yeah, everyone knew that they were getting rid of that. I'm not happy about it, but apparently iPhone 12 and 13 mini sales were absolutely abysmal, like laughably abysmal, and so they dropped that. You have the 14 and the 14 Plus, and it's literally just an iPhone 13, but with like the iPhone 13 Pro SoC, and the like camera's a little better. The like one cool thing with the camera that isn't software based is the front camera has autofocus now, which is weird but cool.
Didn't they already have like a focus on it? Like, or was
No-
that all in software?
It was just like a single like it didn't move. It didn't do nothing. It was just like a shitty webcam.
Well, yeah, that's what I expect out of my cell phone or cameras is basically shitty webcams.
Which like this is a little better than that.
Good.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, otherwise there is like nothing fucking remarkable about the 14 whatsoever. Meanwhile, we have the 14 Pro, which is I'm of two minds on, as I am with most things. Because while I like what they have done with the notch, turning it into a punch out thingy, it's a solution to a problem that Apple created themselves. So it's like, should we really be celebrating the fact that Apple came up with an elegant way of fixing something that never had to be a problem in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know. And
so do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
At all?
No, not even.
So on the iPhone 14, you still have the big ugly fucking notch that's just kind of sticking down from the top of the screen.
Oh, I did see. I did see a video on this stupid. Okay.
Yeah. So the 14 Pro, instead, you've got this little pill that's in the middle, or that's just a little bit down from the top of the screen, that's sitting in the middle of the display. And they utilize it by doing some tricky shit with the software to make it essentially look like it's this magical space that expands and contracts and shows your notifications, and it'll have like your little activities that pop out of bubbles that come out of the sides of it. It looks really nice, not gonna lie. Like I was sitting there watching the demonstration video and was like, wow, that looks really cool. What an elegant way of dealing with that problem. But the more you think about it,
I hate
you
it.
would realize, well, yeah, it doesn't need to be a problem in the first place. Just put a fucking bezel at the top of the screen. Like, that's all you needed to do.
Well, and I know you hate it. But like I have the Pixel 6 and it has just like a little pinhole.
I hate that too.
I hate the Apple one more because it's not just a pinhole. It's like the entire top of your screen.
And like I will admit that while I hate both of them for pretty similar reasons, I am at least willing to tolerate the notch on the Apple side of things because it gives me Face ID, and I really do appreciate Face ID most of the time. I still wish that I could have Touch ID in addition to Face ID, but I do like being able to unlock my phone with my face. That said, it still doesn't get rid of the fact that like we don't need to have this be a problem to overcome. Just like put a fucking quarter of an inch of bezel at the top of the display and it would look fine. I wouldn't have this big bar that's covering up like 1/20th maybe of the screen whenever I'm holding it sideways, but it's still there. And it still like takes me out of whatever I'm looking at. It's stupid. It makes playing games more awkward. You sometimes have to like hold the phone the other way because the stupid fucking bezel is getting in the way of whatever's on the screen. Like there's no need for it. It's the same as getting rid of the home button. There was no need to get rid of the fucking home button. It was the place where you could scan your thumbprint and you didn't have problems like what you have now with getting rid of the fucking physical button and getting rid of that bezel, because now you have to swipe up from the bottom of the screen. And guess what? If you're using something, whether it be a game or an app that has you swipe up from the bottom of the screen for whatever reason, you might accidentally close the app out, and there's nothing that you can fucking do to fix that besides turn on fucking the thing that locks you into the app, which then turns off all your notifications. So that's a dumb workaround for something that shouldn't be a problem in the first place. Like, and like Android already had a solution for this in the before, where you have to do it like twice. You have to hit the home button twice or something like. No, you have to swipe up from the bottom, and that brings the menu up, and then you
Yeah.
have to hit the home button, and that takes you back whenever you're in immersive mode. Like, there could be ways around this, but Apple wants to focus on, no, let's just make a really nice and elegant, and admittedly, like, really good looking little fucking mini display thing at the top of the screen. Let's do all that. And because we've already gotten on this ship and we can't possibly roll back from what we've already been doing, especially whenever we've already put this eyesore on all of our fucking laptops.
So, I don't think you like it.
I don't,
think
even though
I have the
even though
3-minute rant you just went on.
even though my intent is fully to get the 14 Pro.
Of course. Well, the display is nice. It's got an always on. Oh, what is it? AMOLED, probably.
No, it's something else that I don't recognize. They explained what it was, and it's not like it's not even like Apple's bullshit, like their own proprietary name for something that everyone else uses. They have some display tech that I don't recognize, but the screen's really nice. It's like 2000 nits. Which is
goes.
cool.
It's up to 1600 nits in HDR content and 2000 nits outside. So that if you don't know what that means it's really bright. Like, in order to have good HDR content where it's really bright, it's 1000 nits. So
which
it's really good screen.
As bright. I think that's how bright the 13 gets.
Yeah.
Like, period, is 1000 nits. So
it's got a new A16 processor on a 4-nanometer manufacturing process. It's got some higher clock speeds, basically. Display engine and image signal processor are new, all to support the new always-on display and camera system. Says the battery life should be better at about 29 hours of video playback versus 28, which is good. Why couldn't they have that why couldn't they have better fucking battery on the Apple Watch?
Now,
anyway.
We didn't mention it with the watches because this article doesn't say anything about it, and there's really no details, but the Apple Watches are supposedly getting a feature called low power mode.
Okay.
Which is something that does already exist on iPhones, but it's going to reduce performance and some other background things to make the battery last longer.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, the only way of doing anything like that on Apple Watch is to essentially just turn it into a regular watch, which kind of blows.
So, the biggest new we're going to move on to the feature I actually think is really cool. I don't like that it's a paid service, but the first 2 years are free if you buy the iPhone 14, any of them. And that is satellite texting.
Well,
which it's emergency, so it says here Apple created a whole interface and technology to keep the data on your emergency text short and help you keep your iPhone pointed at the satellite long enough to send a message. And so basically, if you get trapped in the wilderness, say you're hiking, Roa, who is a very outdoorsy person, and you get lost.
Say you're in a car crash.
Say you're in a car crash. And you're in a place that doesn't have any cell phone coverage. There's a feature that you can use where the phone will be like, okay, point your phone up in the sky in this particular direction, and you will contact a satellite, and you can send an emergency text to keep it so that you can send it out, and hopefully 911 responders or somebody can come and get you. And I think that's really cool. That is actually a feature I think that every cell phone should have. And it should not be a paid service. That should be included with your cell phone, free of charge.
I actually don't remember them saying that it was a paid service during the announcement, which is interesting.
Yeah, Apple didn't say how much it would cost. You get 2 years for free though. So I really like that. They also, for North American ones for North American iPhones are switching to fully eSIM. Over in other countries, they will still have an eSIM and a SIM card slot, but for the North American phones, it's only eSIM. And most companies in the United States support eSIM. I checked it out just for you, Aroa. Consumer Cellular will have eSIM support when the iPhone 14 comes out.
Oh, thank piss! I was like, I actually got on their website. I got on their website last night to check if the 14 was available for pre-order yet, and it wasn't because their
No.
website was completely down.
Oh, let's
So
see.
I was like,
Consumer
shit.
Cellular.
It's still not on there. I'm on there right now.
Yeah, but it says here, does Consumer Cellular support eSIM? It said Consumer Cellular, for example, simply says that it'll support eSIM once it starts selling the iPhone 14, which could be a couple months after the iPhone 14 is released.
Yeah, I imagine, because they usually are a little behind
Yeah.
everybody else, but I don't care.
Yeah. So, I personally like eSIMs. I use them for my phone, obviously, because I use the Google Pixel.
You don't have
But
a choice.
I don't have a choice. And it works really well for me. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you prefer just having a physical SIM card? Do you like having an eSIM, or does it not matter? Do you not care at all? Connor?
Not all at once, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I don't know enough about how the technology works to sufficiently say whether or not I hate it. I don't like it as a concept on the surface, because I don't like the idea of having a SIM number or identifier that is stuck to the phone permanently.
See, I like the idea. If somebody steals my phone, they can't just swap the SIM card out.
Well, they can't do that anyway.
Well, I mean,
with an iPhone.
Oh, right, with an iPhone. With a lot of other phones, they can and have.
Yeah, but with an iPhone, you don't have to worry about that anyway, and like particularly with iPhones, that's really not that big of a concern. Meanwhile, like, what happens if the eSIM goes bad? Like, is that a thing that can happen? I just don't know enough.
Doubt
I don't
it.
know if it's like, if it's just part of the cellular modem, or if this is something where, like, if for whatever reason on the carrier side the SIM card's ID was it MEID, something like that.
IMEI?
For whatever reason, IMEI, it's one of those two. If for whatever reason that number gets blacklisted in the carrier system, or they can't activate your phone, can the phone generate a new one or something like that? How hard is that compared to just buying a SIM card from the store and popping it in? I don't know.
I don't know.
So
I don't think
can't say
that
for sure.
eSIMs go bad. Thankfully, there are two. So if one goes bad, the other one won't.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like, can you not just have the device ping and be like, here's my serial number, here's the hardware registration code that's tied to, like, SIMs obviously are a physical thing. Does an eSIM need to be is it not just a string on data?
That's what I'm saying. I don't really know how it works. I'm sure that there has to be some kind of component of the cell modem that has to keep track of whatever the SIM's ID is. But like, they also have tried to make it very clear that whenever you buy an unlocked iPhone, it is trivial to switch between carriers or whatever without having to deal with a bunch of futzing, because you want to do something that used to be as simple as swapping out a SIM card. So.
Yeah. Swapping out a SIM card's easy. I don't know about eSIMs as much. I'm not constantly.
You probably just have to call in and be
but...
like, "Here's my new phone serial number. Swap it. Doop boop boop. Okay."
They showed during the presentation that, like, you don't even have to do that. Like, you go to, well, I mean, obviously you have to, like, contact your carrier and say, "Here's my new phone." But then,
use
like,
your new phone and take a photo of the old phone. I do that at work sometimes.
And you turn on your new iPhone, and it goes, okay, we're gonna provision the eSIM on AT&T, and then you hit the button, and then it does it, and it's fine.
Well,
It's kind of similar to CDMA networks.
well, it
Honestly.
is. I mean, it is. I believe. Well, Verizon is a CDMA network. But what I was gonna say, is that because you have two eSIMs, then you can theoretically, like, if you're traveling to another country and you're on a plan like Aroa, where international travel isn't great on consumer cellular, you could then get its eSIM or get a plan that supports eSIM, like in Canada or Mexico or something, and then you will be able to just easily swap over to that eSIM, use it while you're there, and then swap back over to your normal SIM when you get back to the United States.
I can't
Which is-
believe we've been talking about SIM cards this long.
Yeah, I mean that's all fine and dandy, but like, I don't know. I'm probably just becoming an old person stuck in my ways. But hey, we also skipped over that the new iPhone Pro has like new camera shit. They spent a lot of time focusing on their new what the hell is it? Photonic engine or some bullshit. Basically Apple is starting to catch up with the first gen Pixel in terms of its camera
good.
features. Like literally they added the Steadicam feature that was like a huge deal with the first gen Pixel. Like do you remember that?
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
I remember the ads.
Yeah, it like all it is just it zooms in the video a little bit and then uses the outer edges of the video and like AI powered motion tracking to keep the video steady.
Uh-huh.
That's all that does, and that's all that this new thing does. And like even Apple, like the presenter was like, it just zooms in a little bit and then uses the edges or the margins around the video to keep it steady. And look, it's just as good as a regular Steadicam. It's like, yeah, it's great.
That's on like every new camera that's made. Like the GoPros all have that, but
Well,
whatever.
it's because fucking iPhone's the best that they've had for all this time has just been optical image stabilization within the fucking lens itself. And like it's nowhere near as good as just using software to accomplish pretty much the same thing. And they finally have caught up with that, and you're going to have that along with having the wide angle lens and the telephoto lens and the standard whatever the hell it's called lens, which all that's cool. Like their low light capability is supposedly really fucking good now. I wager that it's probably still nowhere near as good as whatever Google's name for their low light software enhancement
Night
is. Is it Night Sight? So I was thinking Night Shot, but I think that's Apple's.
Yeah, it's Night Sight that they use for nighttime shots, and it works all right. It's
fucking amazing if you compare that to what like. Granted, I have a 10R, which is getting up there, but I remember like even with the first gen Pixel, like it was no pun intended, like fucking night and day whenever you compared between a current at that time gen iPhone camera and like Night Sight on the first gen Pixel.
Now,
like,
to be fair to Apple, a lot of people, myself included, actually think that the video quality on the iPhones is way better than the Pixels have been until recently. The Pixel 6 I think has really good quality, but any of the ones before, like you compare Apple video quality to the Google Pixel, and the iPhones are just night and day better, like way better. But for pictures, Google has definitely been better, and with image stabilization, they've been better. Just for some reason, the quality on their cameras was just bad until the Google Pixel 6.
at least on the video side, because I know that like their still images were objectively the best on the market for the longest time, or at least for the first couple gens.
Well, and they still have, Pixels have great quality, but a lot of people do prefer the iPhone picture quality. even though it's technically not better. Like the reason is that iPhones tend to take way more vibrant photos.
Yeah.
And that's what people want. They kind of want it to pop out, while the Google Pixel tends to take more muted photos that look more realistic to life, that you could then go and edit them to make them look a little bit sharper or a little bit more vibrant. And people, people who are buying iPhones just want that image to be kind of bright and oversaturated when they take the photo.
And you can, it sounds like I'm trying to defend Apple on this now, but you can also take raw images with the iPhone camera, so that if you want the true to life colors and want to be able to edit that later, that's like a thing with them. They like, that's one of the things where I'm like, Apple actually like thinks about this shit sometimes. But it's still like, like with the fucking pill thing, whatever the hell it's called, the island thing. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. The little pill thing, like, it's such a fucking great and elegant solution. It's just, man, I wish that it was being done by somebody that wasn't Apple, because they're the ones that caused this whole fucking problem in the first place. And, like, I hate it. I absolutely fucking hate it. But also at the same time, man, do I like how elegant it looks.
Yeah, and I don't really like it. I actually kind of hate it. Like, I've seen it, and a lot of people are like, a lot of people really like it in the tech industry, and I'm just like, I absolutely hate that. Like, just give me my phone screen. Just give me the whole screen. Anyway, that's our podcast today. I would like to thank you for being here, Aroa.
Yeah, no problem. It's ironic that I always get so angry about Apple things, and yet I'm the one that uses Apple products.
And you buy, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nobody hates an industry more than people who are fans of that industry. So nobody hates professional wrestling more than people who like professional wrestling.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, people who are passionate about it are the ones who are going to get mad about even good things.
Exactly. And I want to thank you for being here, Connor.
I'm just mad that we spent like 20 minutes talking about SIM cards. You pop them out, you put them in a new phone, or you call and you say, "Hey, I got a new phone. Here's the MAC address." That's all we had to say, man.
IMEI number. They don't. It's not a MAC address.
Yes, I understand, Nathan. I'm not talking about SIM cards anymore.
Why are there 5 cameras on the Galaxy S22?
I don't know. We didn't talk about that.
Video in motion. I don't know.
And I've been your host, Nathan Reensmith. We'll see you. Well, actually, I won't see you next week. Oh, Roa and Connor will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Swap out my SIM card now.